My 30M wife, 30F, cheated and ghosted after we argued and she left our home. What can I do now? My wife and I had a big argument last month. Long story short, what initiated the argument was I found out she spoke ill of me to her friends behind my back repeatedly over the last few months, and she was not honest about it when I confronted. We had this big argument on and off for 3 weeks. Most of the time she was trying to apologize, beg for my forgiveness and promise not to do such disrespectful things again, cried a lot telling me how she can't live without me and asked me to give her another chance. However, whenever we talked about it, she was still dishonest and would not admit anything she did or said until I confronted with evidence, and such a conversation ended pretty quickly when she was not showing any honesty. This pattern just repeated for weeks. So we had conversations on and off and some cold wars in between during the first 3 weeks. After these 3 weeks, I felt very frustrated and hopeless in our relationship because of her dishonest pattern and told her our marriage wouldn't work unless she can show honesty in our communication. At that point, she felt like she had enough as well and decided to take a break and calm before we can talk again. She left our home and moved to her mom's home. We stopped talking for 3 weeks. In week 4, I reached out by calling her and sending multiple letters via text message, telling her I really love her, we should work on the problem together, and she should be honest in our communication. However, she did not respond to any of these. After a few more days, my friend, who works at a hotel, saw her went into an hotel room with a man. She cheated on me. My friend greeted her when she came out of the room with the man. She first reacted awkwardly but then was gone without talking to my friend. On the day she cheated, my friend told me about that, and I called my wife again multiple times and told her we should really talk. Again, I was ignored. I kept doing that for the next few days without getting an answer. Now it has been almost a month, my wife has been just ghosting me. I know she really loved me, but very likely know the same anymore. It's been a month but I still find it very traumatizing. When I was reflecting our marriage/relationship, trying to fix the problems in our marriage, she already started to think about and did sleep with another man. I can hardly believe she could take back all her love in me. We have been together for 13 years and married for 3 years, in less than a month, and be this cruel to me. What can I do? Edit, for those of you who said she had already cheated before she left. I'm sure she did not, at least not physically. I have been constantly blaming myself for being too pissed when she was not being honest. I couldn't really handle dishonesty, thought not being honest is destructive in a relationship, and would end the conversations whenever she was reluctant to be honest, and for not trying harder to keep her stayed when she was still at our home. I think to myself, if I go to therapy and marriage counseling with her earlier, maybe we wouldn't have such a bad ending. Edit 2. A number of you said she was leaving because of this man who she cheated with. She had talked to some other guy friends before she left, bad-mouthing yes, but no sign of cheating, and she did not talk to the guy she cheated with. Edit 3. If this matters at all, the man she cheated with is her first love. They met and started dating when my wife was 13 yo and the man was 18 yo. They broke up a few months after the man cheated on her with her friend. They lost contact until my wife was 16 yo. At the time, the man was in a relationship and cheated on his girlfriend with my wife. But after my wife met me at 17 yo, they had no more contact, until the recent event. I had no idea why she would go back to a cheater with no moral like this at the risk of killing our long relationship and marriage. Edit 4. I found and talked to an attorney in my home country. Divorcing without a consensus from both parties will complicate the process a lot. It will also be much more costly, 10 times the amount when divorcing with a consensus, which I find it pretty hard to afford. Moreover, we'll have to go to the court, but the fact that I live and work abroad makes the thing even more complicated. So ideally, my soon-to-be ex-wife and I should talk and come to a consensus about the divorce. I'm not gonna retell my whole story here, you can easily look up my post in the same subreddit. But long story short, my wife left our marital house after our argument and went on cheating on me in less than a month after she left. Since then, I have been experiencing symptoms of PTSD or whatnot. For examples, I have been having severe night sweating almost every single night. I would see my wife in my dreams, go back to the time before she left, we have heartfelt conversations, resolve all the problems, hug tightly together and break into love tears. But then I would wake up to reality and feel depressed. Even on a good night without such dreams or nightmares, I would still wake up with severe sweating. I have not been able to focus on my work or any other parts of my life. Almost every single thing in life reminds me of my, mostly good, time with her, and this breaks my heart each time. Given how long we have been together and how closed we were basically each other's best friends and family members, and had been living together since college for almost 11 years. Everything and place in my life has basically her footprint. I tried to avoid doing the things I used to do with her and going to places I used to go with her, but this turned out to be unsuccessful. I'm feeling slightly better now because I'm staying at my parents' house for the summer. I live and work abroad. But when I was alone at our marital house in the country where we lived, the symptoms were even more severe. I will be going back there next month and I can't imagine living alone in that house, or even in that town, in which every bit of things were our memories together. FYI, we moved to that country and town 4 years ago because of my work. We were totally new to the environment, adapted to it together, built everything together where we called home. I thought of moving out of the house, but the house I live is subsidized by my work organization and I don't think I can afford other housing, so moving out does not seem possible. I know time will heal, hopefully, but are there any things I can do to get over the trauma? I can't foresee myself getting back to normal mentality and getting back to the track in near future. Remark, I'm initiating the process of divorce and hopefully can get it done soon because I know our marriage is done. For those of you who read my previous post, I waited for a few days near her mom's house and finally got a chance to see and talk to her, 1 month after her cheating. I caught her when she went home with a luggage bag. I guess she had spent a few nights with the guy she cheated with. I greeted her and asked her for a talk. When I saw her got off from a bus near her mom's home, she ignored me. I followed her and asked if she still knows who I am. Sarcastically, she replied with no, I don't know who you're. Please don't follow me or I will call the police. My heart broke, again. I decided to stay near the house and waited for another chance to talk when she came out. A few hours later, she came out and I stopped her for a talk. Finally, I got a chance to talk. I told her how my heart broke when she was dishonest before she left, how my heart broke when she decided to leave despite my attempt to keep her stay, how my heart broke when she cheated on me and ghosted me without being a bit of remorse. I also asked her many whys. Why she neglected my attempts to communicate, why she cheated on me when I was trying to come up with ways to salvage our marriage, why she would break the heart that's been loving her. She did not respond much, but went from being totally indifferent to a bit of tears in her eyes. Finally, she said she was having a really bad time with me, during the month of our argument, and was not ready to talk to me because she was too emotionally unstable when seeing me. Then she left and said she does not want to see and talk to me again, and asked me not find her anymore. I thought our talk could lead to a closure, but her reluctance to talk did not help at all. Update on my first post. I found my wife was planning a surprise party for me and wanted to come back to me after our argument, but at the same time cheated on me. For those who did not read the first of my 2 posts in this subreddit, here is the summary. My wife and I had a big argument for weeks on and off. She begged for forgiveness but was never honest to me in our conversation. Then she decided to leave our marital house for our hometown and went NC for 3 weeks. In week 4, I reached out telling her how much I love her and how much I wanted to work on her problems together, but got all neglected. Later in that week, I found her cheating on me. She's been ghosting and avoiding talking to me. My original thought, after she left, she started to mentally quit the marriage and tried to start another relationship that filled her loneliness and got herself moving on more quickly. However, 2 days ago, I met 2 of my closest friends in my hometown, and realized that my wife was actually planning a birthday surprise party for me with them in the same week she planned and did the cheating. That means she did not really move on from our relationship. She did want to come back to me and fix our problems. But why the hell did she ignore all my love letters / text messages / phone calls that same week? Why did she cheat if she was planning to come back to me with a surprise party? I got a chance to finally meet and talk to her last week. I did most of the talking, but mainly about the pre-cheating issues, because she left when I started to bring up the cheating issue. She said she did not want to talk, and the moment she decided to leave our house our relationship was already unfixable and no different to an end. I had not had the piece of info about her planning a surprise party for me, so I did not respond with anything strong except we knew it was not, and we had consensus to talk again later. But now I have confidence and evidence to prove that is simply not true. And now some comments on the original post. Just divorce her, she doesn't respect you. She was talking negatively about you so that she could rationalize cheating. Leave her now, it's over. Dude, you know what to do, she made your decision really easy. Now you just have to do it, that's the hard part. But you have to execute. Would you consider this cheating enough to leave for good? I 25F recently went through my husband's 30M phone, first time in the 5 years we've been together. I found that he has accounts on multiple sites chatting with others as well as an Ashley Madison account. I saw sexually explicit messages between him and multiple different women as well as plans to meet up, supposedly never did so. For the sake of argument, it's only contact through messages. He didn't know I took screenshots, so when I confronted him he lied and said none of it was true. When I asked to see his phone, everything had been deleted. However, he ended up admitting he had been talking to other women on AM for about 2 weeks. 2 days later I asked to see his phone again because I just had a shitty feeling it's more than that. So I end up finding out he also has an of where he posts as well as subscribes from up to 4 months ago. I am heartbroken and betrayed. We've never had major issues in our relationship and up until this point I've trusted him 100%. We also have 2 toddlers and don't want to uproot their life, but I don't think I can ever look at him the same. I've lost all respect. Do you think this is enough to leave for good, or can it be reconciled? I'd love to hear personal experience on either side. What do I do? I 25F recently caught my husband 31M talking with women on Ashley Madison as well as for at least the last 4 months. I don't trust that it was only for that long, but I don't have proof to say otherwise. As far as I know, it was only messaging/sexting with plans to meet up but never actually did. The thing is, we have 2 toddlers that I stay at home with, and we recently moved 5 hours away for his job, which means I have no one around. Has anybody had a marriage survive after infidelity? He promised he would go to counseling to work out his issues and is extremely regretful, having panic attacks and falling into depression. I just have a hard time being sympathetic after how badly I feel I was betrayed. Any insight at all would be helpful. I feel so lost. Update. At a crossroads right now. Originally, I 25F found at least 3 sexting conversations with local women on my husband 31M phone. When confronted, he lied up until I showed him evidence, screenshots, that I knew what was happening. He then admitted that he had an Ashley Madison account where he did frequently sext women, also paid for the chats. He said that it had only been going on for 3 to 4 months. We have 2 toddlers together and I left with them to stay with my mom for a week. Well, while I was away I told him that he needed to come clean about everything or I wasn't willing to work anything out. He said that he had told me everything. I was able to find a Yahoo email account that I was not aware he had and log into it. What I discovered was that he has been sexting multiple women for the past 2 years, and he also has an OnlyFans where he subscribes and posts. He's made multiple plans to meet up, but so far I have no proof that he actually did, and he vehemently denies it. I was completely blindsided and not to mention heartbroken. This is what I am struggling with though. About 4 months ago he got his dream job 5 hours away from where we lived at the time. I was 100% supportive and gave up my schooling, job, and business I was trying to get off the ground so that we could move and he could have this job. I was also very close to my mom and sister, who was a very big part of my children's lives, so I haven't seen them either, which has taken a toll on my mental health, but I've been making the best of it to create this new life in a new place. All of that being said, I would not have moved if I knew what my husband was doing, and now knowing I feel even more betrayed and trapped. I really want to go home and live with my family instead of feeling isolated raising my kids in a place that I don't know and have no one but my husband. Has always been a good father, and I feel evil and selfish for taking away his children from him, and I above all want to do what's best for my kids. He has to keep this job for at least 8 more months due to a contract, so if he wanted to move back with us, not in the same house, it wouldn't be possible until the year is up. I have no idea what to do. I am so lost and honestly numb. Update on my last post. So I think I found all of the dating websites he was on. I mean, who knows, could be more, but so far Cougar Life, Ashley Madison, Tinder, POF. And I kind of went a little crazy and started messaging some of the numbers from women that he exchanged phone numbers with, and lo and behold, everybody was fucking right. He was physically cheating as well. Needless to say, I am leaving tomorrow and I don't at all feel bad about it. My life has completely imploded and I've been living with a man I genuinely thought I knew, but that turned out to be completely false. Thank you everyone for the advice because it really helped me. I had decided to leave, but I was waiting a few weeks to get my ducks in a row. Now that the situation has changed, I am leaving now. I can't stand to be in the same house. And now some comments on the original post. It's highly unlikely he never physically cheated, not that the rest isn't bad enough. Ultimately it's up to you if you want to reconcile. I wouldn't. Deal breaker. Wanting to, and actively trying to cheat is a deal breaker for me. Ops response. That's what I'm struggling with. I feel like there was clear intention even if he never went through with it. Boyfriend cheated on me with ex-wife. Had been seeing someone for almost a year and I knew his ex-wife didn't like me. She's emotionally volatile and manipulative to him, but I was very understanding being an ex-wife myself. Plus I will always support moms. He recently started to not be honest with her about where he was or what he was doing whenever he was with me. He would tell her he was sick and couldn't be somewhere but would be with me the whole time. He wouldn't tell her why he needed a night off with the kids, etc. I noticed some text messages that were missing a lot. Don't judge me. And it started to get to me, or that they would message about how their day was or if they had a good sleep. Basically beyond co-parenting shit. I felt like he was ashamed, or maybe that he was protecting her feelings. We both knew if she found out she would make his life really hard, even threatened to not let him see kids. I know it's illegal, but the threats are emotionally harmful. This past weekend it got to be too much and felt like I was just this band-aid, as he obviously still wasn't over certain aspects his relationship with his ex. I don't think he wants to be with her, but the cheating just made me see red. I feel so full of rage and have been nothing but supportive through his sobriety, supportive of his pain from his ex, spending all my time with him. I wasn't looking to get married anything, but this was the first time since my divorce that I could actually want to be with someone. And the strangest thing in the world, I'm numb. Haven't cried once. I can't tell if it's BC I feel so betrayed or that I'm done. Raise your hand if you have the looming X factor in your life. Fucking suux. Also, I'm really dumb, right? The amount of chances I've given this dusty dude. So I think I found all of the dating websites he was on. I mean, who knows, could be more, but so far Cougar Life, Ashley Madison, Tinder, Poff. And I kind of went a little crazy and started messaging some of the numbers from women that he exchanged phone numbers with, and lo and behold, everybody was fucking right, he was physically cheating as well. Needless to say, I am leaving tomorrow and I don't at all feel bad about it. My life has completely imploded and I've been living with a man I genuinely thought I knew, but that turned out to be completely false. Thank you everyone for the advice because it really helped me. I had decided to leave, but I was waiting a few weeks to get my ducks in a row. Now that the situation has changed, I am leaving now. I can't stand to be in the same house. And now some comments on the original post. It's highly unlikely he never physically cheated, not that the rest isn't bad enough. Ultimately it's up to you if you want to reconcile. I wouldn't. Deal breaker. Wanting to, and actively trying to cheat is a deal breaker for me. Ops response, that's what I'm struggling with. I feel like there was clear intention even if he never went through with it. And now some comments, he enjoys the toxicity she brings. You're better off without. My honest opinion, ask if this relationship is worth that baggage. It may not be his fault the ex is toxic, but if he can't manage his ex, then why even bother? There are plenty of people out there without any excessive baggage.